one thing to see how they post on social media, but when you see the authentic person, it kind of brings it all to life. And honestly, to me, there's no difference between what I'm seeing on social media and what I see in real life. So that, to me, and my personal experience, has been a really good thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Kerri puts this all together in her professional workshop form. So this will be awesome. So, in her her brand, basically, Kerri is an international job search strategist who helps people land their ideal jobs using their stories. So stories plus a job search strategy. And she was selected as a top career expert, followed on LinkedIn by JobScan, and wrote a post that garnered 8.1 million views.
Double snap, like that's great. I haven't beat it, but.
Her specialty is helping people to see they're awesome and how to communicate that on paper, person, and LinkedIn. She's a certified resume strategist and has taught in universities, theaters, boardrooms, and even a boathouse.
That's true.
And without further ado, Kerri Twigg.
Awesome. So my session is all about how we can take what we've learned today and actually use it and give it a roadmap. Because I think the saddest thing ever is coming to a conference and listening to people speak and getting really inspired and then doing nothing about it, right? Because I don't want to come and see you 3 months from now, like really as soon as 3 months, I want to see some action. I want to see you in 3 months, in 6 months, a year from now, still coming and asking other people to inspire you. I need you to take the information that you took today with all of these experts and then do something at it. So that maybe next year you'll be presenting and you'll be like, you can have the job of doing this. Is it hard to see these slides, or is that just me? Yeah, can we do
Probably
a little bit? Lights in front.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a little bit. There's also some really sweet typos in here, so if you catch them, that's it's totally me. I don't sell myself as perfection at all. But what I wanted to do is this morning and this afternoon, so far we've heard 4 different people speak. And I can tell you what I've learned so far. And if you have some that you want me to weave into my presentation, I'm going to show you how I can take some of those learning and then I'll bring it into what I have to share for you. For the first one today, for me it was just the idea of having a legacy, that idea, because I think that we have ideas about what we want to do and goals and how we want to be seen, but the idea of if I died,
This is your theater
Wild applause at the end. So if you died today, could you die happy? And I wondered how many feel, because my dad recently died in January, and I did have this feeling. I'm sorry, that's not to bum you out, but there was lots of things that he didn't do. And for me, that was extra motivating to be if I died, if my plane to Winnipeg tonight, we crash, I'll let you know that I'm dying feeling really happy with my work. That I know at my funeral, people are going to play goofy videos of me. They're going to talk about articles. I told my husband, I'm just compile it into a book. People will buy it. I feel in the last year and a half, the way that I've been putting out my stuff and communicating with people and helping people has just been so authentic that it's changing the way people are talking about careers. That is so exciting that I'm very happy. And if you don't have that feeling, then I think that was what was inspiring first thing this morning, was just the idea of that legacy. Was there anything else that you heard Alexander say this morning that was sticky for you, that you wrote down or you took a shot off? Anything?
True to your values.
Oh yeah, true to your values. Okay. Yeah, because it was and showing it everywhere, right? True to your values. Anyone else? Yeah.
We and I talked about this afterwards, but the idea that you can get knocked down 100 times as long as you get up 101.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then get up. There's that song, right? Get back up. I don't really know it. I don't know if it's that right.
It's a song that helps, of course.
Even if you get up, even if you get knocked down. Okay, now thoughts in my head. Yeah?
His idea of greatness,
Oh.
being the best version of yourself and doesn't matter what, don't try to be something that someone else wants, you can only just show up as your best self.
Yeah, right? Okay, awesome. Yeah, awesome, amazing greatness. Cool, yeah?
Just like the way that I do all that together was like, I imagine him as like my rugby coach. And just kind of always has that mentality of you gotta be better, you gotta pursue, you have to be your greatest self, you have to live a legacy on this team. You know?
Yeah, cool. I love it. Like the coach, we can just hear his voice whenever we're uncertain. Cool. All right. How about Bobby? For me, I don't know, he said something about like the number one reason people buy is because of people being authentic or brands being authentic. Anyone else? And I listen to a lot of Bobby stuff, so I didn't learn a lot because I know him. But like people who are new to the world of Bobby, what did you take away from that? Yeah.
Well, the question that he caught me off guard on, pretty much, the follow-up, the importance of follow-up.
Yeah, hey, man,
Yeah.
I am not good at that, so, yeah. I didn't even learn it there, I hate it so much, I'm like, I don't want to listen, but yeah, okay, cool. Anyone else? What do we take away from Bobby? Yeah.
One of the big things that I took away from what Bobby was saying was like, one, the follow-up, just because I'm also terrible at that.
Yeah.
But two, just how he viewed video and how he viewed like his steps and like the actual tactical steps on how to do all that.
Yeah.
Very
Okay,
informative.
okay, cool. So this is all stuff that what I planned to talk about today, we're gonna weave it right in there. Sweet. So I actually could probably have, I'm being very, like, what's the word? Like where you stop yourself from doing something.
Restraint.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of self-restraint by not filling this with like 5 pages of brilliance from print, but for me, because there was just tons. So I did want to talk about mirroring. I know about mirroring, but I want to make sure that way when I bring it up. But the idea of just like making things like relatable, about like using the personality, about and the big one of like that you have to believe was huge. Right? Because I think what happens when we're trying to make any kind of career moves or put this in is that we don't believe. And if we don't believe in it, that's when we make like really hokey connections with people, or we show up on video and we're awkward because we don't believe in it. And so I was like, oh, you can show your personality, you can be familiar, you can be like, show that relatable bits to you, but if you don't believe in it, then it, like, how can you make anything happen? Anyone else? And I'm sure we could probably fill this all up with it. Yeah, great.
Probably it wasn't that how much people decided through motion rather than.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Maslow hierarchy of needs change. That was,
Okay, yeah, so that was a total shift for you.
well, I mean, I'm in the
right?
business class, so in HR, that's what we were taught.
Oh. Yeah, it's absolutely all through the emotions. Anyone else? Any notes that you wrote down, nuggets that you had from Dr. Bryn? No, I felt like all of it was kind of like revolutionary, so it was like, yeah. But I love, yeah, that deciding through emotions. Okay, that's great. And then we have Lila. What do we get? And that was just live, but what did you learn there about communication and using that verb method?
What I liked, how Lila was trying to get the information from, like, being an addressee of her question.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't just stop at me answering one. There's like a why, and like, what did you, and like trying to delve into this to really understand my motives. I really
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It wasn't shallow. It was very deep to really understand
Okay.
what I was trying to convey. Yeah.
So what's cool is that I don't think that was like a motive for yours. Was like, oh, I'm gonna go deep.
No, but-
My presentation didn't go deep.
But-
right?
I don't stop until I get
Yeah.
what I need.
But I like it that as a model for when you're taking your career seriously, or if you're trying to be a thought leader, or you're trying to be an expert in something, that that surface level, there are so many hacks. Like if you look at how many people are career coaches on LinkedIn, like, I don't know, I was 600 million, I don't know how many people are. But like there's so many people who say they're career coaches or they write resumes. And then on top of it, you've got people who are, like, they've lost their jobs, wrote one resume, and so they're gonna write 10 posts about how to write a resume. Like that if you are competing in that field, so if I was competing with all the other resume writers with a really surface level, and I was okay with just being like, I'll tell you what the right font, or, you know, don't put references, then I'm gonna fall flat, right? The reason I was named like #1 career coach on LinkedIn is because it's deep, right? And when you can have that confidence and that depth, you're like, you can't compete. Like people can, and I'm not the right coach for everyone, but you can't just be forgotten, you know. And so yeah, I think that depth is great. Anyone else for Lila? Yeah.
I was gonna say, and this is almost common for Laya and just about everybody else, is being purposeful, acting with intent.
Okay. Yeah, that purpose.
I was just gonna say, we all had a one-on-one conversation with her, even though she was talking to the room.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the pointed questions. It was like cross-examining a witness. And
Yeah.
It's really good at getting to super objective, is that the terminology, I think? And I thought it was authentic and real. And I also had this sense that she had a read on every one of us individually based on those insights.
Man, okay, and it's a read. And some of these, I like Tish's read, and I think those pointed questions, so though, like when she asked those pointed questions, did they make her look uneducated?
Not at all.
No.
No. Why? Why didn't she look uneducated when she asked it with like those pointed questions?
She looked quite awesome. She looked very investigative. She
Yeah,
looked very
right.
curious.
Yeah.
Truly curious.
And invested, yeah.
Because
So,
she was getting to a point, like at the end of all the questions, there was a point she was waiting for you to actually speak it out yourself.
to say it, yeah.
And also, I think it was because the manner in which she said it also very much showed that she had a genuine interest
Right.
to know. And,
Yeah.
you know, that's what I think made it more comfortable, I'm guessing, for
Yeah.
everybody to, you know, go on answering those questions.
Right,
It was
okay.
reflective and non-judgmental.
Right.
And thus, it didn't reflect back on her.
Right.
Correct.
Just putting it out there and letting the person put it back.
Okay, this is great. What's cool is that sometimes we think the idea of an expert or the idea of somebody who's going to be taken seriously is someone who just goes like, bleh, and here's my stuff and look at my things, and they don't ask questions. But actually, if you can ask the right questions in a really intentional and deep way, like she modeled, you look intelligent. You look like you care. So that might be something to weave into your personal brand of like, when is the right time to ask a question? Because that might not be, I don't ask a lot of questions. I'm one of mine is like, I will be an expert, or be seen as an expert. Okay, cool. So we're gonna go through, I'm gonna weave these in, and we have the panel so we can get deeper into them, but I'm gonna show you what I would do in the process that I lead people through when they're trying to make a career change, and how we can start to map the journey. Because one promise we had for you today was that you would get a roadmap on how to use all this stuff. So I'm gonna show you a roadmap. To make a career transition, is anyone here, and except you don't have to say because your boss is here, but whose boss isn't here? Is there anybody who's in a job right now who is looking to probably land something else in like the next year to 3 years? So we have a couple of people. Anybody looking to shift like to something completely different? One complete, two completely, three. Okay. So a couple like full career transitions. Is anybody like hoping to launch a business or a side hustle? Okay. Anyone trying to make a move internally in their organization? Anyone, you're go do them all.
All of the same thing.
Yeah, man, you're like, you're making it happen. So many things. Okay. So this is mostly if I'm working with somebody and they say, Kerri, I don't like my job anymore. My job sucks. It feels like, they'll say, like, it's sucking my soul. I don't feel like me anymore. I had a client, she worked for this organization, worked for a university for 15 years. The last 8 of the years, she was at the director level. And she built fantastic things, she had a great reputation, and she had friends who were getting headhunted, and she would apply for jobs, and she wasn't getting any calls back. And she was like, I don't know, I have a great reputation, I've won awards, I've built all these things, I'm managing things, like I'm not happy in my role because there's a change in how the university is structuring things. But what do I do? How come I'm not landing things? And so I went, we're gonna go through this process. So to make a career transition, and I would say to start a business, it's the same thing. The things that you need to know is, number one, is you need to know what you like to do. And I think that we've heard this throughout the day, which is like find your favorite skills, find what you're passionate about, but you need to know what your very favorite things to do are. And it's not your favorite sector, right? I'm a theater grad. I don't work in the theater because I actually can find more joy in my work doing my favorite things to do that have nothing to do with theater. So knowing what your favorite things to do is the number one first thing to do. And how you do that is the index card method. Now, if you watch me on LinkedIn, I think I show this method like every month because I am addicted to it. But everybody has an index card in front of you if you're at the table. If not, there's little piles at the end of the table where you can grab one. And I hope you have a pen. I didn't think that of that.
I think so.
So the index card method, and we're just going to do a new method, a new way of this. If there's anybody who is a pen hoarder and you want to share with some people, they love it. Yeah, see? We know them. What I would love you to write down on your index card is a day that you went to work, a moment in your career, or if you haven't been working, like it could be a volunteer gig, but a day that you are very proud of your career. It can be big, it could be saving the company millions of dollars, it could be as small as like, I helped this receptionist figure out, this coding system. Write down your number one, most favorite moment with not too much detail that it takes more than, the size of an index card, but enough that if someone was to read it, they could get a gist of the story. And I'll give you a couple minutes. What are you most proud of so far in your career, big or small? I put cards on the floor so those in the back. Oh, do you need a card? Oops. Yeah. I wrote on the back of it. I think I could write a book just called How You Can Sort Out Your Life with Index Cards. I love them. I love them. Big fan. Every client of mine just gets them shipped in the mail. You're gonna need these. All right. Yeah. Anybody everyone pretty good? I love Trello because Trello's like index cards. Everyone good? Okay, cool. So how you actually want to use this in your life, and you've actually done day one, is that today, starting today, and for the next 7 to 10 days, if you write down one story a day of something that you're proud of, then you'll have an inventory of the things that you're really proud of, and you can look at them and start to make connections. Why I say one, like starting today and doing 7 to 10 days, is that it's overwhelming to try and do it all in one. And you gotta let some time, there's probably brain science that, I'm like, brain, back me up. That allow, once you have the intention of digging back into that, of giving some time for some of those memories that maybe you've forgotten to come back when you're thinking about that. Is that a brain science thing? Could be. No. Like, I want it to be.
Pretend it is.
Okay. And it totally works backed up by science. So what you do is you take your stories after 7 to 10 days, and then you see if you can find some common themes. And the common themes, everyone's will be different, but you're trying to look for the thing that actually gives you the most joy in your job. So I did it, so I put mine out, and I wrote really short stories. But, you know, I'm really proud of the time I expanded like the programs at the Winnipeg Art Gallery, teaching even at the UW just a couple weeks ago. I got another teaching one, so I'm gonna say that teaching is this thing that brings me joy. Love to teach. I'm happy right now. Another one would be, I've got this one which is about improving a class after I got a critique about not doing a great job. I'm really proud of how I changed it. And it would be the same with improving a course after I got feedback. So I get really happy when I get feedback on something and I get to improve it. I get the opportunity to improve things. And then these ones are all stories about working in communities or with people who are in situations that are not really, not average, and where I came in and that the technique that I used worked. So I'm very proud of like overcoming a challenge. So if I was to put those into 3 piles, like I did, then we're gonna say, I'm gonna be the most happy when I am helping people in situations like to overcome things. I'm very happy to do that. I'm really happy when I see things that are broken and I get to fix them. So I love to fix things. And I'm gonna be really happy if I get to teach. So that means that any job that I take where I get to teach and help people, and what are my others?
Fix things,
What?
yes.
And fix things, I'm gonna be happy. And I can actually start my job search that way, or I can start my business that way, which means I'm gonna build a business where I get to use those favorite things, or I can search for a job, and I'm not searching a title, I'm not searching teacher or fixer, but I'm searching for those words in job banks, like helping people, like solving problems, teaching, so that if that's part of the job, I might be happy. So I'm gonna try and see if I could join some other themes. So I'm just gonna take random cards. I'll mix them up, you'll never know, except we know you, the color of your pen. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, snatcheroo. All right, so we've got, somebody did a presentation at this meeting where they showed that they cared about the organizations, about their employee benefit program, and they generated national interest for a program. Whoa, what skill is that?
A presentation.
What skill?
Inspirational.
Inspirational, yeah. So this person would be really great. Yeah.
Marketing.
Marketing, yeah. Oops. Touching this at the same time. Go back, okay. Yeah, okay, so someone who's really great at presenting, but I think also where they showed, they showed that they cared. So what, like they also, like I think that it's presenting, but I feel like it's also tailoring things for an audience. So if this person found more stories that were all about presenting and being on stage, then it might be presentation. If it's about that they showed this like collaboration, then that might be the skill, but you're kind of going through them. What I'll do is I'll even write in brackets the different skills that I think are highlighted in each story. And then they got national interest, right? So it might be about the cell, that they might be happiest when they get the cell, right? And we can't tell by one story, but if you lay out a bunch and you go, oh, these are all about like landing the deal, then you know that this is someone who's happy about making the cell. Somebody else said, I helped turn my fear into my strength, and I started doing video to get over my fear of being on camera, and I leveraged it into an opportunity. Okay, that's really beautiful. All right, so this is somebody who took, like,
And wrote my card.
what?
Who else wrote that?
Oh, connection, yeah, okay. So this is somebody who takes their fear, who is happiest when they take their fears and they turn it into something else. So if they're gonna be happy in a job, they need to be able to overcome things. So if they take a job where they're just expected to be like this, they're not gonna be happy. It's not gonna have meaning because they actually like to be challenged. Or it might be about, creating or seeing that opportunity, right? So then it's looking for jobs, or you're launching a business where you're always helping people get opportunities. The last one was, oh man, I something the title of bank icon.
Should I tell you?
Yeah, what is it?
I didn't know you were gonna read my
That's all right,
handwriting.
yeah. You what the title?
I won the title, I earned the title.
Whoa, a bank icon
Yeah.
for knowledge of a global recognition for the next year that also gives you responsibilities and rewards and puts you onto the leadership council. Oh man, okay. So this story, if I was coaching you, I'd be like, what did you do to get it?
Mhm.
But if you're really proud of this, then you might be motivated by like recognition, and so you need something where you get recognized. But how, like, yeah, so you got all this and you got extra responsibilities, so you love a challenge. I would be interested in like what you did.
It was basically speaking, selling, training, and leadership, all
Okay.
was a part of it.
Yeah, so I would say start to put down, like write those if you're proud of that work too. Because then it could, you would know that you were the most happy when you were like speaking and selling, unless it really is about the reward. Like if you're like,
I'm
they-
actually not used to recognition, so the fact that I got that and that was like bigger than anything
Yeah,
ever,
cool.
I'm still, yeah.
Yeah, so that might
Letting
go.
myself feel it even.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so that might be, actually moving into my second point. So my first one is, what do you like to do, your favorite skills? So if you can figure that out, you're a zillion steps ahead of everybody else who's launching a business or looking for a job. Because they start with their resume or what jobs are available. So they're already narrowing where they could compete. And you're starting with like, this is the things that I love to do.